All right. Session 38, and
Woot.
when we last left our heroes, we spent the entire session basically rescuing Streak from himself, which in turn, apparently, a few bits of activity there drew the attention of some additional people. People, air
Oh, that's
quotes.
just because someone wanted that.
Well,
Wish,
no,
wish fulfillment.
there was a there were a roll or two where I was like, I just need to keep accumulating enough rolls for to have this be a thing. Um, okay, so yeah, the right at the end there, we at the hospital having the touching reunion scene, and then the wall kind of gets pulled away, or eh, not exactly pulled away, sort of just. I mean, definitely pulled away, but not like rubble, streaming out and landing on the street below kind of thing, as much as just like the whole wall sort of got funneled, sucked away from the wall and sort of away somewhere. Uh,
There,
what was that?
there was a wall, and now there isn't.
Well, you saw it kind of go away, but where you would expect it to be like falling, it just sort of didn't. It sort of just got kind of hoovered up a little bit, sort of. So it wasn't like ripping and tearing and stuff. And the hole in the wall, while not like perfectly square or perfectly circular or anything, is certainly quite tidy. Um,
So
and
is it the entire outside wall with window and everything, or is it just like there's a hole in the wall through which we're seeing
I would say that
stuff?
the wall,
And usually there's windows on the outside
right,
wall of a hotel room
right,
or hospital room.
hospital room. I would say that the wall the wall that makes up the fourth wall, the outer wall of the hospital room, is probably about 95% gone, but it doesn't like extend into what you would think would probably be other rooms and spaces and stuff like that. So there's
Got it.
like bits and pieces in the corners, that kind of thing. Uh, Electrical wiring that was up through that area is just kind of terminates. Um, Not in an electrician's sense. It just ends. They don't run water through the outer walls, so that's not really a going thing. But there's outlets and things of that nature. Um, so you've got these three individuals. Uh, we'll put them like that, kind of a little bit. Um, they don't have the handy labels floating next to them, and have said, uttered in unison, clearly, with their fingers, their hands leveled at Concord. What have you done? That was where we stopped. Um, I don't know. Just off the top of my head, I'm going to go with Concord. What do you do?
I fly out towards them to go talk to them.
Interesting. Okay. Um, so just kind of the original Superman movie, kind of floating out away from the room, kind of
Yeah.
thing. The 1 foot tucked, stay balanced on your wire belt, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or was it second one? Which one had Zod? Second one.
Second one.
Second one. Um, okay, so you kind of float out there toward them, and they like almost before you're moving, the red one's kind of falling back a little bit, as though to create space. The other two kind of follow suit, and they all kind of move back. Not as far as you come out, but probably half the distance that you come out. They also sort of withdraw, but they don't withdraw in straight lines. They withdraw, if Concord's moving out to this space, they kind of go like that.
How high up are we?
12th floor.
Okay.
I'll randomly say ICU is usually kind of up and away from stuff,
Mm-hmm.
so we'll say 12th floor. And they're probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 meters. The closer ones are probably 5 or 6 meters from the building. This one's probably the furthest back. The one in red is probably the furthest back at probably about maybe 10 meters, something like that. Similar, so Alicia, similar energy signature to
Concord.
obviously. Although they're much more monochromatic, which is probably the first thing that you notice, which may indicate it could be lots of different things. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
It could be bad because they might be more
stronger in their particular
area. They could be
color.
They could be
or
specialists.
it could imply that they're not as complex in their power as Concord is.
Yeah. Well,
or it could be just a color choice, I think I'll be red today.
Yeah. There's a dial on their lightsaber. You could just kind of swing it around. So you fly out there, Adam. What do you do?
I'm doing exactly what I was thinking, or exactly what I had thought about before. Concord's just gonna he's just gonna have this sort of just pleading look on his face as he's looking at these guys, and it's just look, I know you probably don't like me, but something bad happened to my shard Solaris Gamma 2, and I'm worried it might happen to you guys. You might want to get off Earth for a while. Something bad seems to happen to the Concordance guys who come here. It's not the most well thought out thing.
No. The one in red says, I have to look here and see what James said. That's funny. I want to be green today. The red one says, no, what happened was you foolishly attempted to subsume the energy of a keynome, and in order to preserve your mortal shell, the shard, against protocol, sacrificed itself to preserve that attempt and you. In other words, you were incompetent, made a ridiculously poor decision, and it killed the shard. So in so much as you might happen to a shard that comes to this planet, what you're saying is true. In so much as that sort of foolishness might happen to any shard that comes here, that is false. You are the danger, not this planet.
Is that a powerful blow?
I don't know. Actually,
I'm feeling pretty bad about that one.
I was gonna say.
These guys are not adults. I don't know. Do you think they have influence over you? I don't know that they do. It's kind of
I'm gonna go with yes.
Okay.
Adam did everything I was about to say, everything Adam's done so far has been basically to get to these guys because of what they said. So I imagine there's some influence there.
So and speaking as nothing else, the authority of the Concordance, I think the Concordance probably certainly has influence over you as an entity. So from my point of view, he's either shifting labels or he's taking a solid stab at at a powerful blow. Because he's hitting right where the guilt is. And he's calling you out for being the cause of all of that, which has certainly been if I think he was probably going for that because he sees you as being like sort of emotionally vulnerable and would probably be going for that. But at the very least, if you don't think powerful blow, then I would definitely go label shift. And if not, but if you go for powerful blow, then we don't need to worry about the label shift. It's one or the other. What do you think?
Oh no, I'm feeling totally called out here.
All right.
So
In
I
that
think
case,
it's powerful blow time.
in that case, let's do this thing as a powerful blow and see where we. I am looking for objects.
Oh
to
man.
go. Oh boy. Oh, that is a hell of a way to start things off. Okay. Did you not even?
It's the only full hit you get for the evening.
Okay, so take a powerful blow on a 10 plus. Choose one. You must remove yourself from the situation, flee, pass out, etc. You lose yourself or your powers. Lose control of yourself or your powers in a terrible way, or take two options from the 7-9. I'm gonna let you kind of parse through that because that right there is a nasty bit of work.
I know which one I want.
Okay, I am almost afraid to ask, but not so afraid that I'm not actually going to ask. So.
Lose control of yourself or your powers in a terrible way.
Oh God. Okay then. It's interesting to me that take a powerful blow usually frequently doesn't necessarily mean take conditions.
That's actually the mid-range option.
Yeah, it's a mid-range. It's like, okay, this hurts, but not so bad that I'm gonna like. Okay. So, what are we? I mean, are we gonna have another one of these like pictures that look like your character icon, or what does this look like?
That's a great question. What do you think this looks like? Because I'm like, eh. This seems like hard move territory to me.
I mean, if you want to lose,
Lose control.
Do you have any burns still floating around?
I have one burn.
Because I don't think you're necessarily going to think about what is. Let me look at what your. You don't have your burn moves up on your sheet though, do you?
Yes, I do.
All right, let me look. Let me look then. Burn. We got the burn there. Flare, barrier of crime. I got to throw up a barrier. Move any place you choose. Split focus. Oh dear. You know I'm looking at weapon of final compassion. All right, and you don't have enough burn to avoid the other thing. So I'm going to have you. We're going to do weapon of final compassion. You channel the destructive burst with your powers because you've got the one burn sitting there. Spend one burn to directly engage a threat using freak. And there isn't another burn to control the collateral damage, so that's not happening.
Mm-hmm. And I imagine because Concord did just zap up a bunch of streaks, anxiety and whatnot last game. I imagine that's probably just a little bit of that bleeding through.
Yeah, you've got the anxiety, you've got the guilt, you've been exposed to that. You were looking for them inside, now they're out here. And then it's just like this 1-2 punch right to the guilt and the death of soul. And, you know, you were legitimately saying, no, it's the danger of this planet that it's not safe for, and half believing it. And he brings you right back to no, it wasn't the planet that killed him, it was you. Which doesn't necessarily dissuade or disprove or disagree with what you said, where the planet may be, inimical to their kind. but he's focusing on the soul stuff. So why don't you give me a freak roll? Directly engage. Do you don't? Oh my God! Now wait.
I am doing.
Wow.
I am doing amazing today.
Well. So. Oh yeah, because you're afraid. So you're minus 2 to directly engage. Oh my God, that's bad. Hey, take potential.
I did take potential.
Okay. Well, we're gonna get everybody rolling dice right away then. Oh Jesus. Okay. So as soon as he starts to light up, this one here, they kind of pivot. They kind of float in the air and pivot a little bit. Oh, let's see, bring this one to the front. To front. And this one kind of, oops, kind of slides towards the front of these and gets a big shield up. And it's a lot like Ghost Girl. You would have seen this kind of when he was winding up to do the bots, where he got the big kind of glow. Bill, what did you call the special effect that, like, with the eating the building kind of deal?
Oh yeah, that makes me feel good.
You know, the thing where you had linked a bunch of images of
Right.
the various pieces and stuff. I can't remember what the sort of trope was called.
Sphere of Destruction.
The sphere of destruction, right? So you see that kind of lighting up, except it doesn't seem to ever ground. And can I say poetically, this is so good that we're back to this position here where, with Adam, where he tries to do an attack and it goes so sideways. It had been going really well, and then all of a sudden, oh dear. Okay, so I think the most I kind of feel like with that 0 there and him going and just blasting as a result of his take a powerful blow, I feel like everybody in the room needs to take a powerful blow. Unless you guys are taking some sort of defensive, like, is anybody trying to do some sort of defensive thing to protect others, because then they might not be in it, but then you're going to be kind of I feel like this is like the fact that he's not even facing you guys is going to be unexpected enough that there's going to be some fallout there, but it kind of depends on what you guys are doing. Adam is definitely lighting up for a big attack. Alicia would recognize that tactically. Leo would recognize that. Gigi would have actually seen this to know what it looks like. And Harry's just going to kind of figure out it's bad pretty quick. So, actually, before we get any dice rolling, let me just ask what you guys sort of do. Harry, what do you do? Your folks are still here, by the way.
I think first I tell my mom to get out of there.
Okay.
My step, and then the surrounding rooms and area are clear of people.
Okay. All right. All right. So that's Harry. You tell your mom to get out of there. Are you doing anything about your dad or no?
I told my mom to get my dad out of there.
Okay. All right. Alicia, what are you doing? I mean, his power signature is building up, and you saw kind of what happened at the power plant. So,
God, there's nothing decent to dive behind here, is there?
not necessarily. Unless you go down. like down the side of the building or something. You're not sure. I mean, you can dive out of the room, certainly.
Yeah. Crap. So okay, alternatives. Do something to distract the bad guys. Do something to distract Adam. Dive for cover.
Doing something to distract the bad guys potentially. I mean, he's trying to do something to them. They've got obviously defenses up. You might be able to fiddle with that with them because they're focusing on the one thing, and you might be able to do something else.
Well, I commented I'm looking for something to throw. So,
Well, what's your gear like at this point?
I have my gloves. That's like all I had. I was in the workshop, right? And I grabbed the gloves while I was
So you don't even really have
out.
You don't really have like the uniform or anything like that.
I don't have the uniform. I don't have the body armor. I don't have the guns. I don't have the batons. I've got my gloves.
You've got an oxygen tank.
There is an oxygen tank. That's true. That beats a bedpan. Hey, oxygen tanks can actually, add to explosions and things like that.
Yeah.
Sure. I will.
Maybe if you try to lob it up, over the
lob it
shield
up. I'm gonna try to lob it up, kind of over them.
Okay.
With the idea that if Green there is putting up some sort of shield between them,
something from the other direction. Right.
So something from above that suddenly explodes might. In fact, hell, I could potentially make it explode if I've got a charge on the gloves.
Right. So we'll do that as a directly engage. It's also going to mean probably a roll for you, but that's neither here nor there.
Charlotte, action! Yeah.
Charlotte, what are you doing? How are you reacting to this? When you went down underground, were you weren't there for that? So let me explain this, because Charlotte's seen this, but Margie hasn't. If you look at the Mike's icon or Adam's icon down below, you'll see the big blast that took down a lot of bots that were fighting outside of the nuclear power plant. And Charlotte, at that point in time, was keeping in. You and Agent Waters were both keeping Rossum the original, under surveillance. You were holding on to him and keeping him out of trouble, up on the ground level, and seeing this big energy signal around as this energy built up, you just sort of decided discretion was the better part of not getting your face melted off. Grabbed Ted, grabbed Rossum, and sank down into the ground about 6 feet. And after the blast was done, you found yourself only about waist deep in the ground because the rest of it was just gone. And the ground had been atomized or something where you had, gone down to it, down as far as that. But luckily they were still insubstantial, so you hadn't been affected by that. So you're certainly a lot closer to Concord right now for that than you were before, which bodes ill for not only the people here in the room, but also just in general for the people, to Harry's point, people in other rooms, things like that. So, given that information, what do you do?
My comment while I was muted to Alicia, which was, her decision as to fight or flight might not be her decision. So,
well, she moves pretty fast, so I'm when it comes down to a race of which is going to happen first, somebody rescuing Alicia or somebody or Alicia attacking something, the attack's probably going to happen first because she's sort of wired that way. Doesn't mean the defense thing isn't going to happen either. We'll just have to see how that goes. So what were you thinking?
Well, question is, who is Levitt needs to be saved?
Well, the 6th floor or the 12th floor, excuse me.
I was going to say the 11th floor. Harry went racing out. There's floors above and below here that may be at risk, and you can get there by simply going through the floor. So that might be a thing.
Big picture windows.
Well, the windows aren't going to be blasted or anything. They just might not be there anymore. If you take an ice cream scoop out of the side of the building, which is what's, likely going to happen at this point, what people are able to, what the regular people in the building are going to be able to do is questionable.
I wouldn't necessarily assume how the damage from all of this is going to actually play out as far as,
Yeah.
Is it just going to scoop things out, or is it going to send a
who
concussion
knows?
in all directions? Exactly.
Yeah.
Is it going to suck us all into a black hole? Gosh, that's never happened before.
The people at most risk, Charlotte, would be the normals in nearby rooms. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
and I'm not fast like Harry, so it's not like I can, run around and save a whole bunch of people across an area.
right.
So I'm going to do something probably, let's just say intuitive.
Okay. What does that look like?
That's the wall of the hospital.
Say that again. You broke up just a little bit right at the beginning.
That's the wall of the hospital. Being is that,
I don't think it's a bad idea. I just keep losing the first two words. Something, the wall of the hospital.
Possess.
Possess the. Oh.
in my possession move.
Oh. Okay. Cool. All right. I'll have to parse all this in the correct order. All right.
Sorry,
So that
I'm going to use possession to possess the
to
wall of the
reinforce
hospital.
it or something, or
Yeah, my idea is to actually bring some of the realm sort of towards the front to act as a shock absorber for whatever's coming in.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Leo.
Building into the shade, I'm bringing the shade into the front of the building.
Oh, God, I hope you rolled really low on that one. That sounds really fantastic.
Thank you. I love you too.
I'm suddenly
We're all worried about what Adam is going to do to the hospital.
I'm suddenly reminded of that Doctor Who episode where the entire hospital gets teleported to the moon.
Shadoon, yes.
So good.
Just remember, it always works.
That's what I mean. You'll absolutely protect everybody. That's what I mean. I have no doubt that it will work. It's just we've established on many occasions it's not about possession working. It's about the many possible side effects.
I know just think of it as my gift to you as the GM.
Possession is 9/10 of the plot complications.
It's so good.
I mean,
That's so good. All right. So, and Leo.
Leo's been waiting 27 sessions to be shouty at these guys, so this sounds like a wonderful chance.
Okay.
But Otto's parked out front. He probably saw this coming. Leo's basically going to jump out, and Otto's going to catch him on the way up. And if anybody inside this gap needs to be protected, Otto will be the shield for it.
All right. Is anybody? I'm sorry. You said anybody in the which?
In the gap or the hole or whatever that these guys blasted.
Right. You're kind of diving down into the car to kind of armor up. Is that?
Pretty much, yeah.
All right. That's super cool. I love that. Oh boy. Now I got to figure out the order in which all of this craziness happens. Okay. Mercury, I'm going to have you roll your defend first. If you would. What am I looking at? Oh, yeah. So. All right. So. Just double checking the defend here. You do not expose yourself to danger or escalate the situation. That's handy. Got your nice 10. You can choose to. Oh, yeah, we should probably add a team to the pool. Do the team thing here in a second. Take influence over somebody you protect. We may never get through this one round, so we'll see whether or not we need more team to the pool. Take influence over somebody you protect, or clear condition. So yeah, Harry, take a look at those options and see which one you want. Someone remind me, should I have fed a point of team into the pool right at the beginning of the session? I do, don't I?
Yes.
Just one that just goes right in there, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. We'll get that in there so it's in there. That's handy. All right. So Harry goes racing off, and we'll call that him also giving Tempest and Streak time to get out. Streak's, coming back to himself. He's a little shaky, but he's still fast, and Tempest is motivated. Harry, you're almost sure as you head out the door that you hear her mutter, "Can't believe this is the same kid that, I had go into your head." And he's like, "You had what?" And you're out the room and grabbing people and basically shifting them across the hallway or something like into, opposite hallways or storm shelters or just, out into the hallways and stuff like that as much as possible. A bit of a Quicksilver moment. As all the rest of this is happening, Harry's sort of moving people in slow motion through whatever other craziness is happening. Alicia, I'm going to have you roll directly engage, I think.
If only someone hadn't been sucking my danger away for the last 2 sessions.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, wait, yes, I do. So we'll get back over there and see what that looks like. A 7. Okay. When you directly engage a threat, roll danger. On a hit, you're going to trade blows. So that's where we're at. So you can choose one of those. Avoiding any counter-strike may be indicated. Now, keep in mind that does not actually factor into the Concord thing. This is a whole different deal.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So resist or avoid their blows, which may make the most sense because they're not necessarily counter-attacking. Take something, although your whole oxygen explosion thing may have its own consequences. Take something from them, create an opportunity for your allies, impress, surprise. That's always fun. Surprise the opposition. So what do you think? So many tempting choices.
Well, I know. Take something from them. Any chance I can the explosion of this oxygen tank might
disrupt the
knock
shield?
I was going to say knock that staff out of.
Well, the staff
Green.
is okay. What Green has. I'm not. The staff's a bit off for that sketch, if I understand it correctly, because that particular agent does not generally manifest offensive weapons. But that's the one who currently has the shield up, like the protective shield up. So you might be able to disrupt that construct. You certainly can if that's what you choose to do. And this will have happened before the big atom blast.
I think absolutely disrupting the construct. It's taking the shield from, or startling, surprising the opposition so as to disrupt the concentration. However that works mechanically.
Yeah, and
I'm more interested in that than actually the damage, because I think Adam has the potential to do all the damage that we need to do.
Well, the damage happens. Whether or not the damage you're doing happens. Concord's thing wouldn't necessarily do anything to them because he was doing a directly engage and did not roll high enough to harm them. But because of the shield being up, but you taking the shield away means that that is sort of back on the table, so to speak. Okay. So you toss the oxygen. You want to use your glove as part of this? Is that part of the idea?
I think I think that's probably what I need to use to like.
Well, you're throwing it through the growing field that's growing around Adam, so that kind of heats the bottle up pretty good. But as it's like you're kind of timing it as it's like arcing past that thing, and just kind of do a little, I don't know, finger snap or a palm. Is it like more of a palm push kind of a thing, or what's this? What's the electricity effect look like?
Oh, I think it has to be a finger gun. Double finger guns. We'll do it upright.
Okay.
Double finger gun. Oh, good. I have Charlotte rolling her eyes.
That's awesome. So it goes up there, and you like tick, and it's not even really that. It's not even that, like, it's not like a big arc. It's just like a little spark, and just enough to make the thing kind of go off.
It looks like, when you're pulling the barbecue lighter trigger. That's what it's gonna look like.
And it's just in a kapow. It's a small explosion, but it's concentrated. So that breaks their concentration. That particular entity's concentration shield drops. The blast back, the blast also like shatters windows around the hole in the wall, sort of in the walls. On the floor above, because you're arcing it up, so I'm gonna say the floor up above, kind of like the window shatter, like probably you hear like maybe 2 or 3. You hear some shrieks of people up there. I'm gonna have you take guilty.
Okay.
As you realize collateral damage, people on the upper floors, since you do take a shot back, you're not avoiding their blows, and the blow in this case is sort of from the crap, collateral damage. I have to worry about that now. That's probably not the thought that you have, but
okay, look where you're aiming. Yeah, picture that you miss.
think of it as a very small version of the Scarlet Witch thing at the beginning of Civil War.
Yeah.
So a bit like that.
Scraps of Hope Orphanage and Bunny Rehab.
Yeah. So you, Jesus. So you kind of roll back from that. As you're rolling back away from that, Leo dives past you and out the window and just down in street clothes, which probably not the angle of attack you would have gone for, but don't really have time to think about that.
I figure he knows what he's doing.
That's good.
Charlotte, you are stepping back and like putting your hand on the wall and kind of, I guess, infusing the wall with the shadow realm.
I'm bringing the shadow realm forward.
Like a layer in Paint Shop or something.
Yes. Hospital, move to back.
Photoshop.
Shadow, move to front.
Jeez. All right, possession. When you touch a mortal object and power it, roll freak. On a hit, you can use this object as a focus to do something impossible. When you roll a 10, we'll figure this out. So let's find out.
Possible I am today?
Which wait, I gotta see what James just shared up here. Oh, the hospital
Really
hall.
cute.
Which one though is the
The second one. Just for you.
Oh, that's so good. Yay.
There are 2 things there.
That's so good.
The second one is very good.
I love it. 9/10 of the plot conversation. Yeah. What is that move actually originally called? It's not possession. It's
Well, it's an
outsider move. I can't remember what it's like. Infuse or something.
It's like alien tech or something like
Alien
that.
tech or something. I like possession. Anyway, all right. So I'm gonna have you roll your freak and see where we land on that freak action.
You freak you out.
Oh, that's a victorious cackle. When you touch a mortal object and power it, roll freak. On a hit, you can use this. Roll a 10 plus, choose one. It works exceptionally well if you get an extra use out of it. It works exceptionally well, or you get an additional use out of it. I missed the focus is effective, but has a completely unintended side effect the GM will reveal when you use it. All right, so we'll go with works exceptionally well. So you're looking to buffer the hospital itself with shadow energy to kind of protect it from whatever the heck Adam's energy signature would normally have on the structure. Is that the idea?
Yeah. Or whatever the guys are throwing,
Right. At this point, they're not throwing anything, but that remains to be seen what will happen there. Okay. Charlotte's in the room. Leo dove out. Harry left. Concord is the center of the explosion.
That
Okay.
doesn't mean I want you to have a chance to have fun things happen because of it.
Exceptionally well. I think you can. I think you can extend this to Alicia if you want to. Like actually sort of infuse her also, like through the building since she's in contact with it. Otherwise, she's probably taking a blow from this blast, but if not, then she's going to brush it off in the same way that the might still have her take a powerful blow for being freaked out by the supernatural effect, but no, probably not.
That comes tonight when she's home alone in the dark.
It's like creepiest thing. Yeah, that kind of thing. If that's what I mean, I think that's. Yeah.
No, I think that
Is that good?
So, yeah, the idea is.
And honestly, even some of the people and that sort of thing, so you can kind of, especially since you may have heard the shrieks from people up above and stuff like that, you can sort of protect some folks like that and just kind of reach out.
To sort of, kind of.
So. So this blast is more of a. I mean, it's a self-centered flare kind of blast kind of thing rather than just the focus thing. It's like the part where it reaches peak potency and is released in a blast. We never get to the and is released into a blast portion of it. It just builds. In a weird way, I'm thinking of the way the speed thing builds up with Chase and then can't release it and he just kind of bursts. And that's kind of the same sort of thing. He just somewhere in there, Concorde just doesn't release the thing and it blasts back. The devastation here would have been monumental. The buffering effect that Charlotte does isn't so much a buffer as she sort of shifts the hospital, maybe not the whole thing, but a big chunk of it. No, I'm going to say the whole thing because otherwise structurally we have some questions to answer.
We wouldn't want that.
She sort of shifts the building into a slightly different science. Jason would call it a slightly different vibratory plane for a moment.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. But basically she makes the whole hospital and at least the people like intangible during the explosion. This is not that worrisome for Charlotte. It's much more traumatic probably after the fact for other people because they literally are going to experience the explosion going through them and the walls and like seeing this, and you have all those visceral reactions of flinching and crying out and putting up your hands and all that kind of stuff happening, but nothing actually ever happening. So you get this, it's like a waking dream / nightmare / night terror kind of situation that is not helped by the fact that they're also shifted into the shadow realm, which sort of exacerbates the idea of it being scary.
No, Life's not perfect.
On the up, yeah.
On the upside, they're
the
all
upside.
alive.
I also want to say Leo is traumatized scientifically because this is bullshit.
This shouldn't happen. Leo not being in contact with the hospital is not nearly as lucky with the sort of the blast thing. He's not, he doesn't take it because he's fallen far enough. So you're falling towards Otto. You were expecting, he was already expecting that. The explosion sort of increased the impact a little bit. So you guys, he still catches you and everything, but there's a lot more of a and a lot and him sort of tumbling down against this blast until you guys kind of like pull it out like really right at ground level, or just before, as you're like he's sort of his roof kind of opens up and catches you in like the seat and is folding you into the armor and all that kind of stuff. Or are you getting armored up, or are you just getting into Otto?
Oh no, we're going to armor up as well.
All right.
There's going to be a fight here.
Yeah, that's cool. So Alicia, you're not riding out the take a powerful blow, but you do have the rather unpleasant like, oh, okay, I get to visually and you can process all this stuff very well because of the way you process space. And it's like, okay, so this is what could have really pretty easily theoretically killed me. All right. That's I can see where that would have been 3rd-degree burns, and I probably would have.
I say fuck really loudly.
Yeah, and it's very very disconcerting. But yeah, the hospital goes weirdly see through. As you're looking back up at the explosion, you can kind of see it going into the building, Leo, and you can also realize you see the sun through the building in kind of a hazy through the cloud banks kind of way for about. I'm going to say 4 seconds before it kind of snaps back into, and the energy didn't just it's got effects like it kind of like flattened bushes and, that sort of thing down on the ground level, car alarms going off, that sort of thing, probably crack some windows on adjacent buildings. And not just adjacent buildings like across the street, but adjacent buildings behind the hospital. Like the hospital didn't absorb. It absorbed some of it, but not all of it.
Just mean. That's just mean.
Well, the hospital wasn't there to absorb. Although it did, you do feel as though it did absorb some of the energy, but not in a destructive way. Parse that later.
Oh, good.
And I don't want to even think about how many ghosts are associated with this building.
It's less. You found it's less than it used to be, and some of your compatriots in the cemeteries just talk about that. The older hospitals are certainly back in the day, even up through as much as like 20, 30 years ago, used to be a lot more spectrally active. The death rates at hospitals have just dropped a lot. So you don't end up with that as much. Not nearly as many people die in hospitals as used to. So you don't end up with that as much in the older hospitals. And certainly with this being Halcyon City and hypertech, it's even more true. It's a
fewer restless dead.
Yeah, it's a weirdly spirit active area. What your experience from your living days would make it a hot spot, and that really isn't the case.
Okay.
Interestingly, that may change rather dramatically, given that a bunch of Concord energy just got sort of mixed up in an interesting spiritual Cool Whip and then refrozen in the shape of a hospital.
Meanwhile, done in the maternity ward.
This is why I love the peanut gallery.
Why does my child have a star field on its face?
Why is his face actually a star field? Okay. Adam, just as this gets away from you, you realize how bad it's going to be, and you expect when it bursts away from you, uh, you can see in your mind's eye exactly how bad the damage is going to be to the hospital. If it doesn't actually kill a bunch of people, the collapse of the building will, because there's a good chance you're going to bring down a portion of the building. And unbelievably, none of that happens, even though it absolutely should have. You don't know what happened. You can guess certainly kind of what happened. But somehow, when you look back to gaze in horror upon the horrifying destruction that you have wrought, there really isn't any. With that said,
Cool. So I can try that again, right?
with that with that said, the blast does catch the concordance agents full whack, and I guess if there is damage to a building, it's actually to the building across the street as they get sort of blasted back into it. What do you do?
Well, there's probably that quick little crap. Just yeah, as all that sort of hits, it's like, ew.
That should have been terrible.
I made that really worse.
Well, yeah, in every sense of the word, because I mean, whatever happened to the building didn't happen. That's one thing, but
They just proved their point.
their reaction to you is definitely not going to be great at this point. Is that the thing that you made worse that you were thinking of? Or were you? Yeah. Okay. So what do you do? Because they kind of like the three of them get knocked back as almost a cluster back into what building is across the street? What would be right across the street from a hospital?
An office building.
A doctor's office or a parking structure, depending on
parking
how
structure.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna say
There we go.
parking structure makes sense. So yeah, they get kind of knocked. There's car alarms going off back there because they get knocked back into like one of the levels. What do you do?
I think that is more of just like a quick little run, flight back, regroup. Like, oh, everybody's okay. I am really sorry. I do not think these guys are going to accept an apology now.
Okay, you dive into the room, and Alicia's the only one who. Well, everybody else.
Ghost Girl is still there, but yeah, Ghost Girl.
Oh, that's right. You're right. She was reinforcing.
Yeah, Ghost Girl's still there. So, so what do you say to them?
And like, I am really sorry, guys. I made that a lot worse. I do not think they're going to accept an apology now. Where's Leo?
Leo, what do you do? Because you see them you see these three guys kind of like go sailing back into the parking garage across the way. The building somehow has not taken any damage. And you seeing and probably being able to guess kind of what happened, you quickly check to make sure you're still in your body. And that all seems good. So what do you do? What do you and Otto do, I guess I should say?
Did I hear you say two of them went that way?
It clustered, like all three of them kind of got blasted that direction.
Okay.
Because they were all kind of like, one of them was in front and the other two kind of piled in behind. And then the shield went away, so they all got kind of knocked back that direction.
Okay, well, I will try to interpose myself between when they come out and where Adam is, so that they need to go through me or interact with me or deal with me first.
Okay. So you kind of fly back, kind of back up to the 12th level floor kind of area, but further out away from the building and just like kind of out at street distance away from, or parking lot, but halfway between the parking structure sort of in the building. And we're just holding right here. Is that the idea?
That's the idea.
All right. Harry, you had everybody moved and then something really weird happened. And got all weirdly Charlotte-y. You've had enough weird misadventures with Charlotte, you kind of recognize it, partly from having her inside your body, cohabitating for a second when they were fighting that lightning armor dude in the cemetery. So you kind of recognized the weirdness.
Or at least the origin of it.
But nobody's screaming and burning, and the building isn't falling down. So, yay? What do you do?
I think it's time to get back in Concordance butt.
All right. So you get back to the same hospital room where.
Does seem to be where things are centered on.
All right. So you get.
Or at least an easy access point out, given the lack of wall.
All right. You get back in there, and I don't have a. I gotta shoot a thing to Mike here real quick. Look at this. Would be
Roll 20 or Discord.
roll 20. I haven't finished typing it yet.
Okay. No, I just wanted to make sure I was looking at the right thing.
All right. It doesn't matter. Actually, never mind. Don't worry about it. I don't need that one just yet. Actually, sorry. I just realized I'm missing a move here. I got to remember to do. My bad. Okay. Leo, you're kind of hanging out in the air there, and you see movement in the shadows of the car park, and you see, sorry, these two kind of flying up out of there really, really close together. And there's a, hang on, gotta get the thing here. See, yeah. That's what I'm looking for. All right. So they come out, and as they're flying out, they're flying really close together. You think they're maybe even holding hands. You realize they're not so much holding hands as their hands are kind of just overlapping or touching, and they keep flying closer to each other as they're emerging from the shadows. And as they come out into the light, they sort of fully overlap each other, and you get this. Wait for it. Yeah. This thing, which actually, just so I can give it to you sort of in scale, is like if this guy was normal human sized, yeah, that's about right.
So it's about as big as Otto.
Yes. Roughly about the same size. You see them kind of get up there, and they kind of, like, the sword's out, the shield's up, they're kind of paused and, poised in kind of a fighting stance there in the air. And you also get a gleam of blue back in the shadows of the car park that may indicate something. It may not indicate something. It kind of depends on how you proceed or determine what you want to do there or anything like that. They're about to do something that's sort of the, pull away the curtain a bit, the GM's reactive opponent move thing. How you react to that is kind of, you get a chance to react to it before they're, at least figure out what the heck's about to happen. Maybe or whatever. So what do you want to do? How do you want to proceed?
Well, I'm calling for Phoenix to get here fast. It's going to be here pretty soon, but not immediately.
Right.
So while I'm waiting for that, you guys are the biggest hypocrites in the universe.
Okay. Sadly, they're about to prove you right. The armored figure draws up or draws back, or it seems to be almost somewhat taken aback by that and the force of the words. And there's reasons for that, but a lot of it boils down to the fact that Leo clearly believes it. That's the two of them. The blue gleam does that whole anime, there's about to be a blast coming, like little rotating star effect thing. And then this blue beam comes out and does a, Iron Man continuous laser effect kind of through the space that you're in. But it's not being remotely careful about it. Lasing out of the darkness it's focusing on you. What do you do? Because you're saying that, and then this blast comes out. It's not. I don't know. It depends on how you decide to parse it, really. It could have been in response to that. It may have been something else entirely, but it certainly feels like it's in response to what you say to them, which
the only things behind me, as far as I know, are Concord and the hospital, neither of which I want to get hit. So, all right, so I'll take it.
All right. I'm going to have you roll defend, I think, because you're defending. Is your savior maxed out? Probably.
So my savior is -2, and I'm insecure.
Oh shit. So it's the opposite reason for the laugh.
Well, that depends. When you leap to defend your lover rival in battle, I could choose danger, but I don't think that applies here.
He's not your love or rival right now, right?
No, but both Mercury and Ghost Girl are back there too, but I don't think it's relevant. So I'm just going to roll.
All right. Now,
hey, Alicia's back there too.
I can load a little blast through.
She could do with a little. Okay. All right.
In the interest of keeping them safe, if that's on the table,
I mean, I think at that point I would probably just go. Well, let me just. I want to make sure I'm on message with the way it's written, but I'm pretty comfortable with. Okay. All right. So 7-9, you expose yourself to danger or escalate the situation. I think I'm going to have both. So what I'll do, it's not going to hit the hospital. It's not going to hit anybody back there, but I'll have you take a powerful blow from that, and then we'll see what the escalation thing kind of looks like there.
I'm pretty okay with that. Like if it was like roll 7 or 9 or the hospital gets hit, like I'd ask for auto to spend team. But yeah, I'll do this power.
Yeah, I mean, certainly could. Go ahead. Unless somebody wants to get up to 7 to 9, that's fine.
Yeah, I was since Adam's last thing was like, where's Leo? If he's flying out there, it's probably like shield all time too.
Okay, so you wanna spend a team and push it up to a 7? I guess at that point in time, it's really kind of your choice. Escalating the situation is one thing. Exposing yourself to danger means it doesn't escalate, but you're going to take the hit still.
I'll take the hit then.
Is that correct? All right. So the blast, basically, Adam's like, nope, and gets the shield up, and the beam is so focused that it the classic Green Lantern kind of like cracking shield thing. So the shield goes up, and you're like, for just a second, you're like, whew, and then it cracks, and you're like, oh crap, wham, and kind of cracks into you anyway. So let's take a powerful blow and see how this rolls. And we'll take a point off the team thing. Oh, that's pretty good for an 8. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Don't need that. Thank you. Grab a point out of there. And take a powerful blow on the 7 to 9. Lash out verbally, provoke a teammate to foolhardy action, or take advantage of your influence to inflict a condition. You give ground. Your opposition gets an opportunity. You struggle past the pain and mark 2 conditions.
I think giving ground seems indicated.
Okay, so give ground. Opposition gets an opportunity. Cool. All right, so the blast comes out of the shadows. Blue beam cracks through the shield, cracks through the sort of impromptu shield that Adam Concord threw up. Hits Leo, and the priority being protect the hospital, rather than like letting the blast carry him back into the building and crash through stuff. In the tumble, what Otto manages to do is throw the jets basically downward. Yeah, so you kind of like jet down like really close to the wall and kind of probably scrape off the concrete and that sort of thing. Probably some windows crack or anything, but you don't crash into the building, and kind of you find yourself again like just barely pulling yourself out at ground level, going, damn that. These guys pack a lot. So Leo kind of tumbles / jets downward. And as he's vacating the space, the armored figure is leaping forward at the room that you guys are all in. Alicia, what do you do?
He's actually coming into the room?
Well, he's flying, charging, however you want to describe it, straight, toward the room. Like he's coming in for, shield up, sword back, kind of thing, and coming in.
That's excellent.
That's
excellent. Well, I mean, because I was like,
how can I get to these guys? Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna have Charlotte teleport me down to the, to the car park to take out the guy in blue. But if this guy's gonna come, I'll.
Well, I mean, there is definitely, that's actually not a terrible idea because Harry's here and Charlotte's here. So going after the sniper, not a terrible idea at all, actually.
Not a terrible idea, except that again, this guy is charging into the hospital, and
oh yeah, good point.
I'm already feeling a little guilty about the collateral damage up on 12. So
okay,
I'll
And let's be real. Alicia's in front of you first, kind of.
Alicia has a high level of confidence about her ability to handle this guy, rightly or wrongly, and she'll even do the little 2-fingered "come and get me" kind of thing.
Okay, so are you what are you specifically doing? Are you just like completely diffusing this guy's offensive charge? Are you gonna like immediately take the fight right into his face? What is this? What does this look like? You've proven that they can.
Well-
They're not. You've proven they're not omniscient.
They're,
So
they're not omniscient. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and directly engage again because my saviors are crap. So defending is not going to be a good option here. I will do the unexpected, like, close the gap just as he's about to get on me, and
yeah,
see what sort of damage I can do.
Yeah, he's coming in, and like as he's getting right to the gap, you're basically in front of him, and it's all. Well, let's see what it looks like. Let's see what that directly engaged looks like.
That sounds like a great idea.
And just to make sure this is clear, so Adam had kind of moved out of the room a little bit to kind of get that shield up, and as these guys are charging in, Adam, the guy, this actually kind of bats you to the side with the shield, and is going, which is not what you were expecting, which is why it kind of works, and kind of like bats you a bit to the side. For this, and we're going to do the team thing here real quick just to see where we are on team. We'll do that right now. But so you're right there, but kind of knocked sideways. Not enough to do any damage, but just kind of propelled you out of the way. Something about moving your danger down. Oh man, a 3 and a 1. That is a terrible roll.
Not clear.
Charlotte is right there. Harry is right there.
Yeah, so some help probably wouldn't be a bad thing.
I'm just saying the options. Charlotte is right there. Harry's right there. Adam is right there. We've got 2 team. As soon as we're done with this little bit right here, we'll see where our team is going to actually sit. Are we inclined to help, or we let her roll with this 5? Does she need potential that badly?
Yeah, we can help.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, just because Adam just helped. Leo, I'm going to see what everybody else is going to see if people have ideas. If they don't, then we'll jump to Adam. Is that cool? Just okay. All right. So Charlotte. So Alicia's in there and she's doing her best, but I mean these things are like energy construct kind of things, and she's basically in work like a white tank top, a pair of cargo pants, and some electrified gloves, and she's doing okay, but the guy's in like armor with a shield, and to quote my martial arts instructor from college, shields are cheating against basically anybody who's coming at them, with lots of different, not common in the Oriental traditions, certainly. But so with the shield up and the sword, he's got reach, he's got a ton of defense, and she's not able to get into where she's clearly trying to get into, to like vulnerable spots and that sort of thing. What do you do? And again, there's no roles really thing. I just narrating kind of like how you can mess with this guy to give her an opportunity.
Since I'm standing at the wall, that they've sort of walked in past me a little bit.
If you're at the front wall, then yeah, I thought you maybe going to a side wall or anyone, but it's
I'm not in the direct view of them coming in.
Yeah, you're a bit off to the side if you want to be. Sure, yeah.
So they're. I'm trying to think. I mean, my initial idea is to try and reach into them, into their energy, and disrupt it.
Okay. I've
just give them a boogeyman scream and see if that disrupts them at all.
Okay.
That would be more like unleash my.
Well, it's certainly the scream and stuff. I mean, throwing multiple attacks at them is certainly a way to address this for sure. Harry, are you helping here? Are you gonna race across the street to the sniper? Because there's other people here who can help if that's indicated. So, what do you think?
I think it may be more prudent for me to go get the sniper.
Okay. Now, I'm not putting this up here because Alicia actually looks like this. I'm putting it up here for the sense of scale. That's the other problem with, like, you know, it's the only full body shot of something vaguely Alicia like that we have. So
I'm working on it.
no, it's
and working well too.
well, it's just no, it's great. I'm just I realize I got a lot of pictures of Alicia, but they're all like headshots or half body shots and stuff like that. And that one's
Oh no, I only do it to poke fun.
yeah, good. Okay, so Harry is already gone. Adam, what do you do to also deal with this armored whatever the hell this thing just did?
So I figure like there's probably like this one move where they're like trying to knock Alicia like shield basher.
Yeah.
And so Adam just like reaches out after getting knocked aside as soon as he like clears himself, bubbles the shield for just a moment.
Okay.
To kind of like keep him from moving it. They'll still probably like break through, but it'll hopefully give Alicia an opening there.
Right. So it's, and it's moving quite well. Actually, that there's a little bit, it's not quite the same, but there's a little bit of that sense that you were no, this isn't quite right. You remember when you were watching the Dread Queen and you were like, she's cheating. It's not the same thing because whatever she was doing was she was actually almost like that's absolutely going to be a hit that lands, and then it suddenly doesn't because she's not where she was. And that's not what's really happening here, but there is a sense of like, you're cheating somehow, jackass, because they seem to be almost guessing what you're going to do before you do it. Which you happen to know. I mean, not to pat yourself on the head too much or on the back too much, but you happen to know it's pretty damn hard to guess what you're going to do in a hand-to-hand fight. But they just seem to be like one step ahead of what you're about to do. Then the blast from Charlotte kind of catches it from the side, and it's not quite enough. It doesn't seem to be enough to like seriously damage it, but it definitely disorients it and kind of turns a little bit, and you're like, I'm gonna get a side shot here. I'm gonna get up underneath the arm, but then it starts it again seems to know you're about to do that and starts to bring the shield around, but the shield gets caught by Concord's bubble, and he can't get it down. So you get kind of up there underneath the arm with that electrified glove and lay one up into there. Now you're having
Zot.
Yeah. Now Zot. I haven't had a good Zot in ages. Now that pushes you up to a 7, which means you're actually gonna like deal with damage this thing, but then you've got to pick something off of that whole directly engaged bit. So do you avoid the blows? What do you do? What are you aiming for? Damage again is going to happen.
Right.
That's not a thing you need to worry about. The rest of this is another knock-on effect, literally. Meanwhile,
I definitely want to make an opportunity for the rest of the team here. I guess I could just create an opportunity and say that as opposed to take something like I take his sword away or something, or take his shield away, since that seems to be his thing.
Certainly.
I would like to create an opportunity for the team, as long as since I'm in the thick of things. If I could do something to distract, bind, or otherwise create an opening for either Charlotte or Adam, I'm willing to do that, and even if that means I'm
So the opportunity that you're going to give, and this is going to be tricky. There's a part of your, maybe you have to kind of wonder because of the people. You're talking about a kid who's a kid, or at least seems to be pretty young, and Charlotte, who doesn't, occasionally doesn't think about something. You're not sure if giving the opportunity to these folks is going to be something they're going to be quick enough to take advantage of. But you put that aside and do it. And basically what it means is not rolling out, not like getting out of the way, and letting them fully commit to a hit that's going to leave them open. And so when he does break that shield back out, like out of the bubble, it comes, you don't get out of the way and roll with that, but it's going to throw him pretty badly off balance. You're going to have to tell me what the condition are you taking. This hurt. He knocks you down, so you actually skip off the floor and bounce back up into the side of the bed. Like you bounce. Rib crack, fracture, break. You're not 100% sure, and you're not sure if it was 2 or 3. And as you're bouncing back from that, and there's certainly the doubt of whether or not this is going to pay off, all that kind of stuff. So what condition?
I'm going to have to take a freight on that.
Okay.
I'm boxing out of my class here. Even though I took the blow willingly.
Yeah, you kind of let yourself have it, which is that you can always claim later. No, I let you guys have it. You didn't take advantage of it. But they're definitely, and the fact that you got in there and then now twice has clearly got their, definitely got to them as well. And when they hit really, really, really hard, and you're thinking again, like there's certainly that thought of, what the hell am I doing at, boxing at this weight class? Okay. They're going to do something here before anybody else right in that space does anything, because you got your standard. Well, it doesn't negate the create an opportunity for others, but if I can wax meta for a little bit, this is actually one of the most genius things I've seen in a game that's full of genius stuff, but they handle the action economy. The problem with most superhero games is you get a big monster, and the big monster gets to act once around, and everybody else gets to act, and then it gets just pounded by the fact that everybody gets to hit it, and then it finally gets to swing once, which is standard in a lot of RPGs. The thing of I take a condition and then I immediately get to do a response thing, no matter what, kind of balances that out, because beating it up actually also causes other bad stuff to happen. Or at least other stuff to happen, which means it gets to get its licks in or take its actions and stuff like that. But before we get to what happens right there, Mercury, do you run down? What does this look like? Do you run down through the building, run down the outside wall of the building? How do you get down and over and back up into the other car park? What do you do? Or do you just speed and sort of speed jump across the space? I mean, or what? I mean, it could be 100 different actions, I suppose. Because you've got maybe 10 whole feet inside this room. You might have enough of you could easily get enough momentum with super speed to get across the space with that.
I was thinking of trying to run up the building on the other side. There's not this gray streak that just and is fairly visible.
So you want to go up the side of the building on the park. How are you going to get out of the hospital part? Like that's what's happening there. You're going to go out the other side and then come around? Is that the idea? So they don't see you?
Yeah, I
Okay.
figure I won't lose too much time by doing that.
No, not being a speedster. That's totally fine. Do you go out like down through the floors, or do you go like out through a window on the other side and down and out that way? That's probably faster but more destructive. So it's kind of consequences now or consequences later.
I think they can handle one broken window.
Okay, so you kind of go out, or honestly, you could phase, so that's not that big of a deal. You can just go out through the wall, um, out and down, around, and then you go up the outs. Well, probably not the outside of the parking garage, just because it's doesn't really have outside walls. So you can kind of spin up through the parking garage up to the, I'm gonna say 6th or 7th floor of the thing where you can see where the car crashes and stuff are at. You can see where the and it's not even flying, where this blue guy person is at, and looking out at the rest of the thing. What do you do?
Um,
Just keep
do
speeding
not
straight in?
want to. I don't want to grapple with this guy, so I'm just gonna try and take them down quickly.
Just kind of run in and speed punch him.
This is not like Vector. This is not
Kite
someone
him.
I can wrestle with.
Yeah. All right. Then in that case, I'm going to have you directly engage. As long as it doesn't turn me into a robot. Oh, look at that. Very nice. Very nice. All right. And we really do actually need to get the team move here. I keep forgetting to do that part. I'm so terrible. Let's real quick, while we take note of all these things here, look at the team moves just so I can figure out how much team is actually in the pool, because I've now tapped it out. Team mechanics. I'm gonna say Adam's nominally leading this, just because it's everyone. The bad guys are at least focused on him somewhat. When you go ahead.
No, just totally agreeing with that.
Yeah. When you enter battle against a dangerous foe as a team, add 2 to the team pool. That takes care of that. If the leader has influence over every teammate, add another team.
I do not.
All right, so we don't do that.
I only have Link and Ghost Girl.
Interesting. If everyone has the same purpose in the fight, add another team.
Deal with these guys.
Deal with these guys? I think that's pretty straightforward.
I was going to use a more violent verb, but sure.
Leo's is get very shouty McShouty face with these guys, but I think that's essentially the same thing.
Oh, there's a continuum of deal with these guys. Leo's happy wherever.
Anywhere along that continuum, pretty good. If any team member mistrusts the leader or the team, remove a team. We'll start with the leader. Concord?
I'm gonna go with
at this point.
At this point, man, he doesn't really trust Alicia still, just because Alicia. But
I guess it kind of boils down to whether or not you know that you were able to figure out what she was doing in the middle of that fight, but it doesn't boil down to that. It all depends on how you're seeing this right now.
Well, she hasn't sold us out yet, even though that is totally an option. So we'll say yes contingently.
For this moment, right now, in this fight, I nominally trust Alicia. How many qualifiers can we put in one sentence? Alicia, how are you feeling about the team and the leader? How trusty are you feeling?
Um, honestly, since I've already seen the leader almost destroy the hospital that we were standing in the middle of, um,
Not great.
I don't, I don't necessarily mistrust the character of the leader, but I don't necessarily trust his judgment.
So like right now at this point in this situation, for this fight, I nominally trust Alicia. Interesting. In this situation, at this point, for this fight, I really don't trust Adam. So yeah, situationally speaking, yeah, I figured those two people would be at least the first two people I wanted, and that sort of solves that question. So
Maybe Dad is mandating a picnic for the team, y'all.
really, yeah, we've had a couple of team things where it's like, yeah, I don't really trust in. All right, so if anybody team member mistrusts the leader of the team, remove a team. If your team is ill prepared or off balance, remove a team.
I will say we had enough time.
I think at this point we were probably prepared for.
They gave us a moment to get prepared. It wasn't like we were
Immediately in the
the
fight.
hotel room.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
everybody acted with deliberation.
I can certainly say that Alicia's a bit ill prepared in terms of the gear thing, but she certainly leapt right into it regardless. So that's the thing. So we're fine with that. All right, so we're not taking any points off of that. So it's 2. 2 initially, doesn't have influence. Everybody has the same purpose. That gets us up to 3. We remove a team for the mistrust, but they're not ill prepared, so we're still adding 2. We still got 2 in the pool. I don't know that necessarily anybody's fictionally in position to help out Harry with this role anyway, but I did want to finally at least get the points out there. So that's neither here nor there. So we've got the 9. Command army of Alicia bots I secretly constructed on the command of General Summer. Love it. Let's go with that option. I want to go with that option. So
Alicia takes all the conditions.
Alicia bots.
The
No.
reality is, it just needs to be one Alicia bot. It doesn't even need to hold an army. It's just like
That's true.
Any Alicia bot would be enough at this point. Do you want to play a no? Okay, so Harry.
Would you like some cream with your coffee?
Directly engage the threat. You're gonna trade blows with them. They're gonna take a hit. You get to choose one of that off the list. Resist or avoid the blows, which would certainly make sense given that you're a speedster and they are not. Take something from them. Create an opportunity for your allies. Impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition. Are you what?
I could hear you before. Did you just mute yourself?
No, I can hear her. I can hear her just fine.
It's good.
Keeping in mind that if you choose not to resist or avoid, then you'll take a condition in response to them. Sort of.
I was looking at the resist and avoid because, again, I don't want to fight Adam. I don't want to face his powers.
Yeah, you've been on sort of the inside of that. It's not much fun. So you keep moving very fast, and you certainly deliver a couple of blows in there, and they definitely land. But you're also continuing to move. It's got the beam is basically like, as you see kind of on the picture, like the blue left hand kind of thing, and it's kind of like waving it around and lazing about, but you're moving too fast, and it's damaging some of the cars that were already like knocked around by the bodies tearing in here and going into some reinforced concrete and stuff, but it's not doing any kind of real major damage. And you're also keeping the blast away from out in the open, anywhere near the hospital, all that kind of stuff. So that's how you kind of avoid that situation while you land fight, and it just gets increasingly more frustrated with that situation. So, other things that are happening. The shield guy bounces Alicia, kind of half grunt, half cry out thing as she sort of gets knocked across the room. And okay. Both of these people are right now getting their little like sort of response to damage actions. So the shield guy actually seeing the tracks Alicia sort of skipping across the room and sort of takes a step back and draws back. And actually, as they step to the edge of the floor, kind of draws back up and into the air. You will notice, though, that the force of pulling itself out of this bubble and forcing itself into that attack seems to have left itself damaged or less functional on that side, on its, I guess it would be right side, where the shield is at. It's kind of hanging down. So you talk about creating opportunity. Its defenses are down somewhat. It's still an armored figure, but it pulls back, and it actually pulls back, like I said, it back out into kind of the air, and it turns towards Concord and says, "You have once again pulled the Concordance from its mission and led us into petty physical squabbles rather than resolving the great imbalance that you have introduced into this world. We did not want this. We do not desire further conflict. Let us withdraw, and you can see to your wounded." Meanwhile, Mercury, over in the parking garage, the person is kind of like blasting and getting just more and more frustrated and maybe fearful. It's kind of hard to tell, but you think maybe that kind of backed into a corner. It's starting to kind of go like and it rather than waving its arm around and trying to blast you, it stops for a second, and it kind of extends its arms out on either side, kind of, and the blue in its arm kind of shifts to the rest of its body, and it sort of goes. The first thought in your mind is it goes disco ball. They go and they're just doing like a blast in all directions kind of thing. Now, whether or not you can get out of the way, your first thought is this is definitely going to laze across into the building across the way, multiple windows, all that kind of stuff.
Not to mention structural supports in the parking garage.
Structural supports in the parking garage, all that kind of stuff. You getting out of the way, not really even, I mean, that could certainly be done. But
I could phase down a level or a few.
Oh, yeah. Protecting you is not the real issue here as much
That's not the problem.
Yeah, there's lots of ways you can, like, get out of range. The problem being that they're just like, and just blasting it. Not entirely unlike what Concord did, except, well, no, I should say effect-wise it looks different quite a bit, but it's certainly that all-around kind of this is all going to be bad, this is all going to be bad kind of situation.
I have a suggestion if you're interested. But
well, and Leo, you're headed back up from where you kind of Otto kind of caught you. Are you sticking with Otto? Or are you separating out? What's the deal there?
Oh no, we're staying combined. Like
if
this guy wants to merge together, we'll play that game.
All right, that's that's cool. Yeah, right. I didn't even think about the parallel, but it's lovely. So you're rocketing back up, and you've got mics on, that kind of thing. So you hear him say, like, let us withdraw, let you see the wounded, blah blah blah. But you're also getting this very angry blue glow like building up over on the side.
Have an idea. It's not a good one, but minimize the damage possibly.
All right.
If I not die doing it.
Tell me what you're gonna. I think yours is probably the more urgent of the thing. So tell me what you're gonna do, Harry, or what your idea is.
At this point, there is little hope for the parking garage. I was thinking if I could to kind of half phase him into the cement to allow it to absorb some of the.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I'm not suggesting picking and running away with the
disco ball of death. Yeah, that's probably contraindicated.
It really depends on how much time I have, because if I can get time, I mean, ideally
you probably don't have you probably the problem is this area that you're in is so built up that no matter where you take them anywhere nearby is likely to be
into the ground.
Yeah, phasing down like into that is probably, and given that they're energy signature things, you're probably not going to accidentally kill them.
Well, even if he just gets into a lower level of the parking structure, that would help.
Yeah.
In other words, you're not necessarily in the ground, but you can be underground.
Yeah, the angle's not such. So, what I'm going to have you do then is roll your defend and see how well you can use this to protect everybody.
What am I rolling?
Defend is savior.
What you said I was rolling.
You are rolling. Am I breaking up? Oh, sorry. I see. Look at that. Look at that. Nice. Lovely. Okay.
Welcome to the full-on tour of our lovely sewage system.
Okay. So, I looked at the wrong thing. So on defend, still looked at the wrong thing. What am I doing here? Close this up.
And I don't even want to know why he knows anything about the Halcyon City sewage system.
When you defend someone or something, get a 10. You do not expose yourself to danger or escalate the situation, and you get to choose one from add a team to the pool, take influence over somebody you protect, or clear a condition. What say you, Harry? Do you have
yeah,
do you have a condition?
I do. I have guilty, but I think at this point it's necessary to add team to the pool, because after this move, I'm not sure if the Paladin Concordance will kind of let this be.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so do you are you gonna are you doing the whole
taking
straight down to the sewers kind of thing? Because that's a lot of reinforced concrete.
Far down as I can.
Okay.
South minimize the blast, and it's owned by the city, so there's less damage to civilian property.
Okay, that's great. So what you guys see across the way is that kind of like the light and it goes like it keeps like going down through the floors of the like it's progressing down through the floors. I'm thinking like an elevator kind of thing, but it keeps
Yeah.
like glowing out at different levels as it's going down, 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 down.
Ding.
Yeah. Basement floor, sewage, and women's underwear. Anyway, and children's toys, Christmas, and Christmas overflow. Okay. So
Christmas overflow on the server.
Oh no, not Christmas overflow. So the blast goes off down there, and you basically like that last little push, Harry, at the last bottom. You don't go down the last level, so you're actually basically on ground floor, and throw them one more level down. Whether or not it's actually sewer, but you certainly know how like the zoo parking up here at the Denver
P1.
Zoo is underneath the ground. So the parking structure goes both below and above. So you get them down that far enough, and that part is diffused. We're back over to floating armor guy. What? Yeah, so they're talking to Concord. Leo's coming up. Charlotte's right there. Alicia is groaningly pushing herself to at least a sitting, if not standing position on the far side of
So
the
is
bed.
Yep.
Is that before or after and tried to absorb some of his energy?
That was your I had you were talking about like the heebie-jeebie blast, and that was what I ended up kind of going with for that. So you were while Alicia was fighting, the blast he turned kind of towards that. Alicia used that to get the strike, to go for the strike, and
I had the order right in that.
Yeah.
We sort of disconnected there in the middle.
yeah, you were all that was all part of getting the Alicia the opening that she needed to kind of do that. So I'm gonna go with Adam just because he's talking right to Adam for this one. So
So Adam is gonna go blip in between the Concordance dude and Alicia.
So kind of like basically the entrance or the new entrance to the hospital room. The hole there. Okay.
And it's just going to be like Adam, like, just being like, you want us to stand down? You're the one who came in here throwing accusations around at people. You could have helped Terry's dad at any time. You don't want you had every chance to not escalate any of this stuff, and instead you come in here yelling at me and my friends that we're doing something wrong.
You are pulling the pinions of the cosmos out that support this planet and eating them like some kind of inane children's breakfast cereal. And you say we are making things worse? So
At least Adam hasn't broken any of my ribs.
and that is what? Go ahead.
Adam, that was it for Adam. It's like, I am doing the best I could. You sent me a broken guy. I did the best to put him back together. And when we had to save everything, he did everything he could, and I had to just do it.
And there's this, it's like a pause, just like a fairly couple of beats. And why did you do it again today, Adam? What excuse do you have for doing it again?
It was gonna hurt Harry's dad. It was hurting Harry's dad.
And you were there to help Harry's dad. Really?
I'm going to punch this guy anytime now, okay? I'm just waiting for you to get around to me.
You Leo, if you want to punch this guy, by all means punch this guy. That is.
So he's you did it. He sounds very smug.
It's not exactly like he's. I mean, I don't want to give the sense that he's being smug, but he's definitely being
high and mighty.
Yeah, and definitely like I see
not giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I see all the weaknesses in all of you, kind of thing. It's if you took Damian Wayne and gave him a red power ring. Not really not really a red power ring, but like a power ring. But yeah, that kind of like constant critique of everyone else. Kind of thing.
That's perfect then. Because
I've always wanted to punch Damian Wayne. Anyway.
Well, I want to make the roll and I want to see how well this goes, but Leo is basically fully committed to an attack here.
Okay. So yeah, and the dialogue inside of the suit is kind of like, "Hey Otto, oh yeah, I'm fine. Let's go." Like Otto is 150% on board with clocking this guy. So yeah, you can just be coming up from underneath. So like this pregnant, it's like, and why did you do it again? And you were there to help Harry's dad, really? And right about then, Leo connects.
So that's a 12.
That it certainly is. It certainly is.
And what this guy hears is, "Hey asshole," and he's grappled and he is pulled into a series of rapid fire punches from Otto, while Leo's like, "You have no courage, truth, love, or sacrifice." One word per punch.
Nice. As you're still like kind of going up, like along the side of the hospital, and that's the thing. Just before, I want to know this though, because we need one of the panels in the comic for this. Just before Leo connects, just as those words are said about Harry's dad, what's the look on Adam's face? Is he stricken? Is he angry? Is he sure of himself? Like what do we see on his face just before just before the dude in the armor disappears into a Tasmanian devil-like swirl of clouds and fists? Mike, are you muted?
I think he went offline.
I got disconnected for a second there, so I missed a bit.
Okay, so what was the last thing you heard?
Otto just went rapid fire punching.
Right. And
Leo started to say something, and that's when my internet dropped out.
So Leo confronted him with 4 punches, each one for telling him he's got no courage, love, truth, or sacrifice.
Right. And what I ask you is just because we needed one more frame for that, one more panel for this in the comic, is just before that happened, and he disappeared in the the cat fight cloud, Looney Tunes thing, and he says, you were there, you were of course there to help Harry's dad, really. And what was the look in this one panel shot of Adam's face? What was the look on Adam's face? Was it, is he stricken? Is he angry? What is it? See, this is why I thought you must have lost connection, because I didn't hear the thinking.
That is some very burning. That is just like some indignation right there. Just like
how can you say that kind of thing? Or
man, it is like, you are the good guys. How could you do this?
Well, what's weird, I shouldn't say weird or ironic or something about this is that they're kind of got the same attitude towards you. Like he's being an asshole about it, but the attitude is entirely like, how could you do this? Um, you know, kind of a thing. All right, so that's the look on his face, and then we have Leo piling in. 2 seconds behind Leo punching this guy. Okay, so we. Sorry, I need to look over here. Leo, what are you doing for your 2 directly engage options here?
One is definitely impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition.
Nice.
The other one is open to interpretation. I would probably interpret it as take something from them. But if you want Concord to be able to respond, I would probably call it create an opportunity. What Leo wants to do is to make this guy or these people like confront their own role in this, and he wants them to become aware that that they are not acting up according to their stated virtues.
Sounds like a provoke.
Yeah, I mean, man.
That was kind of what I was leaning forward to. So
I mean, it doesn't even have to be like that necessarily, but if we saw them respond earlier when Leo spoke truth, and he said like you guys are hypocrites, and they seem to respond to that. Leo's kind of counting on them being aware of the truth of what he's saying to get through to them. So however you want to interpret that, that would be the other option.
Yep. Okay. All right.
Like my favorite version is where, having become vulnerable, they now actually listen to Concord as he tells them like whatever he's going to tell them. Like, yeah, you did this to me. This is, when did you stop, fighting for what you believe, or whatever he thinks he really needs to say to these guys. Leo just wants to get them to listen.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's probably creating an opportunity then. But impress, surprise, or frighten for sure. Okay. Then I'm gonna look at something here real quick.
And I'll take angry.
Oh, you'll take angry? Yeah, that's fair. And I think they're gonna take guilty. Reveal. Okay. All right. They, in the midst of this, separate, which Otto at least wasn't expecting necessarily, down into their component people again, and fly back kind of out of at least the immediate range of the fists and the pummeling and that sort of thing. Certainly looking the worse for wear, but back into their, I guess, their green and red selves, so to speak. We'll get them out here. I think I lost my green one. Where'd my green one go? There he is. There they are, rather. The and they kind of pause back and they draw back kind of like in shock, I think. The not the red one, but the green one. It's got the shield back up again because you giving him a fine pummeling. You misjudge us. And perhaps we have misjudged you. And she's let me finish. And starts to actually, you think almost actually raise their voice to kind of talk over whatever the red one was about to say. And perhaps we have misjudged you, but we were tasked with recovering from something that the Concordance has not suffered in ages, in uncounted centuries, the loss of one of our own. And to arrive here and find that not only was the loss survived by their what would they
Host?
Agent.
Not only was it survived by their agent. Well, wait, what? Sol isn't Sol the agent?
No,
you're the agent. You're the agent. Not only was that loss survived by the agent, but that agent in the process is destabilizing or doing something that could really only ultimately destabilize the world they were set to protect, has left us reeling.
And so your finely tuned response was to attack a child in a hospital.
We were attacked first, and that is the truth.
Because removing the wall out of the building wouldn't, say, hey, we're going to come and get you?
We were attacked first.
I with Agent Soul, and I learned a lot from him. And I thought that the Concordance agents were supposed to compassion and honor and bravery and honesty, but I have seen none of that.
Should we not have compassion for the denizens of the world that are put in dire danger because of what this former agent to the Concordance has done to the opinions of the world? Should we not accuse?
Honey, I think you just might be going about it in a wrong way, because.
Should we not accuse them of gross negligence in their duties? Because
you even bother to learn the full story as to what happened.
I think.
Or ask questions, or engage in a discussion, or perhaps some witty banter. Something other than tearing the wall up a hospital and...
And the red one interrupts you right there and says, and asking, what have you done? Which I may be a little bit hazy on the interrogative. I'm pretty sure is a question. If you want us to begin with the... Get attacked by the same agent we were querying. We were attacked
agent
by asking what they had done. All we asked
previously
was
inside of Silverstreak's brain was completely neutral?
We didn't say anything in there.
Not menacing?
We asked him what he had done. We asked him what he had done.
Leo's going to look at Concord or /Adam real quick, see what he's doing.
There's probably just like that little spark on him as this is all going on. And he's like, if you guys wanted to talk, why did I have to find you?
That was about the best goddamn question I've heard all day.
What? The red one actually honestly seems speechless. We came to you. What reality have the five of you been participating in for the last 10 minutes? We came to you, Adam.
Flew around the world for a few days.
Trying to assess the damage that had already been done to the world by his gross misappropriation of a key gnome.
And maybe you should have taught him how to use his agent instead of leaving him out here all alone.
We're brand new to the world. Why would we be responsible for that? We're his replacement, not his instructor.
Well, then maybe he should have had an instructor in the first place if there are all these rules he's supposed to follow, instead of trusting him to magically know them all.
Don't kick out the legs of the table that the world is balanced on seems fairly straightforward. We came, Adam, we came to you, which you said we didn't do. You said we should have started with questions, which is exactly what we did. And you responded by attacking us. So who's in the wrong here? Exactly.
There's asking questions seeking for illumination, and there's asking questions to provoke an emotional response. And believe me, I know the sort of questions we're asking.
So,
Yeah.
So to that, who's in the wrong thing? Adam is just going to be like, hands up, like, just like, completely like frustrated at everything. And, this is probably like dissipate time, just like back to Adam. And it's just like, fine, I'm wrong. It was me. I was the one who was in the wrong this whole time. What happens now?
The green one says, well, I need to go set my arm. So
You also broke one of our team members' ribs, so
Who's in the sewer? What color?
Blue.
blue.
Blue kind of lost it too. So
no.
that's not what she said.
Alicia sort of waves up from the gap in the hospital. Hey, ribs here.
As we have already said, this took a turn that we were not intending.
Yeah, well, a lot of that going around.
And at the time, we offered to withdraw so you could see you're wounded, and were attacked again.
Okay, no.
Harry, do you have something to say about that?
Compassionate, the blue one attacked me even after you said that. They were going to destroy the entire building and damage the surrounding areas and possibly kill people. Is that how you guys plan on maintaining the balance of the world or whatever?
We aren't them. We don't share a brain. And we apologize for their rash actions. We were offering to withdraw. And we were attacked after we offered to withdraw.
You guys are really bad at this job. I should just tell you that right now. Three of you cannot replace Concord. But if you are serious,
I can't imagine that we would want to.
If you want to make this right, we're going to have another talk. You guys go tend to yourselves. You come back here, and we'll have, well, yeah, maybe not here. We'll figure out a place. But we're going to talk about this calmly, like normal people.
Oh, and by the way, the hospital wall, you might want to fix that if you're, wanting to help people,
I think that I will grudgingly go pull Blue out from these sewers now if they aren't already out.
Oh, they're out. They're out. That was really not an issue. They would have flown back up out of. I don't think it was.
Anything, so
The sewers real honest to God sewers would be down lower anyway, so they're probably like in the sub
They're-
basement, the next layer down in the garage or whatever.
P1.
What's that? Yeah,
P1.
they're in P1. Um, yeah, I don't honestly even know. Most of what anybody is likely to say is going to be coming from red, and the other two are interrupting them from saying anything. So, not much more of any useful effect is going to be accomplished in here. They get
Leo doesn't think that they're going to be able to say much more right now.
well, the red one gets about halfway through some sort of explosive retort at, "We're really bad at our job. That's ridiculous." And they're like, "Yeah, but we're going to go."
That's fair. Leo understands they want to go. He's really just trying to lean on them to come back to the table at some point. Like if they're just going to run off and sulk, that's no good. But he wants to persuade them that there's progress to be made.
Allow us to slink off and no, that's not what they say. We will absolutely try to ascertain some sort of way forward as soon as Adam's ready, says the blue one.
Care about Adam's well-being.
Well,
No, I'm questioning his ability to competently have the conversation. Let's be clear.
He won't be alone.
nope.
Doesn't change my doubt about the situation and his
For
abilities.
ours. To be honest, I don't think that you've made a very good first impression.
Yeah, the blue one just kind of like opens up her mouth and just closes it again, and they fly. Okay. And one fight and we're through the whole night. Okay. Okay.
Do the police in Aegis suddenly arrive?
Well, there were probably there's
Already there?
this is like, the cop that gets stationed at the high schools. There's probably an Aegis agent at this particular hospital anyway, just because street.
Well, sure.
Yeah. But yeah, there's probably Aegis en route, police en route. The damage, when they get far enough away, the wall comes back into phase. So there's remarkably little physical damage. There's like, call it about 10 cars that probably have varying degrees of insurance claims to make. And
Building.
About, I guess, I don't know, a handful of windows and stuff like that. But largely speaking, the collateral damage is on the low side for you guys. So
Since that's mostly what we were working at, is preventing collateral damage.
that actually works out really well. The spectral Geiger counter would be going off the charts at this point, reading the hospital, but that doesn't seem to have any major effect on anybody right now. So why does my baby have a star field for eyes?
I see people.
I think Phoenix is going to finally get here and just be really sulky too. It's going to be like
Nobody to fight. I mean, the fight didn't go on for very long, even though they weren't very far away. It was pretty quick. I mean, the talking took longer than the actual exchange of unpleasantries. Alicia, conveniently, you're in a hospital, so that works out.
Yeah, I need to tie a towel around my face or something.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can be. Well, actually, the Aegis agents will be like, we need to get you. Could we get you into? Let's get you down in as clearly a collateral civilian who was damaged, who was injured during the fight, and let's see to your ribs there.
Honey, why
I,
don't you give me your gauntlets? I'll take care of them for you. Doesn't. I'll hold on to them for you.
And the Aegis agent is like, I
thank you. That's
Yeah.
very kind
Thank
of you.
you.
yeah.
I
they're-
pull them off and hold them out to her.
Okay, so she's got those, and they, rather than try to even argue with any of the situation,
Since I was the one who displaced half the people on this floor, I feel
so you should probably get them back
to
into
go
their
around
rooms.
and tell them that, hey, it's all right now. You can go back to your rooms.
Yeah, and the hospital staff was mostly seeing that they appreciate what, like, certainly what was getting them away from that side of the building is certainly a very good idea, and nobody was about half of them weren't even like conscious. It was, because this is an
might have to
ICU
just talk
area.
to the mental health people.
Yeah, whatever floor that kind of stuff is on is probably you're going to see a bit of an uptick in the next couple of days. Okay. Hey, Adam. More into your own image of yourself. Closer to the team or further away from the team?
That's a great question.
Let me know if you want me to come back to you. That response is just like, oh my god.
Yeah, just come back to me.
Okay. Charlotte. Closer to the team, further away from the team, more into your own image of yourself.
My own image of myself, just because I feel like I'm sort of being more proactive with my powers.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Very cool. Mercury. Closer to the team, further away from the team, more into your own image of yourself.
I'm going to say more into my own image of myself, since I was able to
do all of the Mercury stuff. Yeah.
But also facing down someone who has significantly more power than me.
All right. Yeah. Fought the superpowers, defended a bunch of people, very superhero-y. Leo, what say you?
So I'm going to say closer to the team and Mercury. I also want to say when you share a triumphant celebration with someone, Leo would make a point to go tell Mercury, like, you did a fucking great job out there. Plus, you said all the things to those guys that I was thinking too. And thank you. Thank you for standing up and doing that.
That's great. What does the triumphant celebration do?
Making your level rival, if they're already your level rival, take influence over them and mark potential.
Nice. And they're one or the other of those. So do you take?
Yeah, he already is.
And you already have influence. So
I do.
In that, so just a curiosity, in that kind of situation, do you think you would just automatically move to the shifting labels thing, or is that just redundant in that particular situation?
I think Leo telling Mercury that he was this amazing superhero is effectively the label shift that we're talking about that comes with this move.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So you can, I would say shift his labels accordingly, but also, so does anything happen to Mercury when you do that thing, or is it mostly all you?
It's all me.
Okay, all right, so.
But as the end of the move, he gets influence over me. If he already has that, he gets to shift my labels and so forth.
Right. So if you already, so Mercury, you have the option if you don't have influence over Leo to shift his labels, and he's shifting yours because of getting, or wait, I should say, well, it's Leo. Of course he has influence over you. Never mind. So yeah, he gets shift your. It's a mutual label shifting party. Cool. And finally, Alicia. Closer, further away, more into your own image of yourself.
Closer to the team, and I'm going to give it Adam because he actually put himself in harm's way for me.
Ooh,
Lovely.
That goes right along with what I was gonna do.
Cool. All right, so you have You didn't have influence over Alicia, correct?
Correct.
All right, so you get influence over Alicia, and what are you doing?
Because Bill helped me help me remember this. So I'm gonna go with Alicia.
Okay.
But I think also probably before she gets like off to go see somebody for her ribs and everything, there's
Yeah.
probably like that that like sulky kid apology of like, listen, thanks for helping out, but you know, I'm sorry all this happened. I don't even know what's going on right now.
Dude, you were great. I mean, these guys were assholes, and they were trying to guilt you and shame you into stuff, and you didn't put up with it. So good on you. You stood up to them.
Can I just say, completely unrelated to that? First of all, nice response, awesome. Secondly, can I just say I love whoever went through and carefully got down the pronouns for the various agents.
Accurate.
You guys are awesome.
Because you kept on referring to Blue as it, and that is not correct.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking of that in terms of the combined construct, but yeah, the combatant is definitely the they them.
I actually had kind of labeled them that way, like at the top of the evening in my notes. So
yeah,
good drawing.
Thank you,
Mike.
Thank you for doing that. Because I realized when I said the it that I switched back to they because I'd gotten it wrong in the first place. So thank you, appreciate that. Concord, was that a share of vulnerability?
Yeah. Cool. Yes.
So what is that? What's that look like?
Well, so when you share a vulnerability or weakness with someone, tell them how they could stop you. And I think this has been like very much like an opening up of Adam's powers are not, or Adam's powers definitely are bound to his emotions. And so affecting those are definitely going to interrupt him.
So affecting his emotions interrupts his powers. That's the share with Alicia.
Yeah. Cool. So depending on what emotions they are,
right,
they can definitely mess him up.
Does he go into particulars with that? Like he's got it mapped out, or does he just kind of say the general thing?
No, I don't think it's like something Adam really says out loud, but I definitely think it's something Alicia can parse out from
for sure
how things out.
Which reminds me now, Dave, I've got an excellent scene between you and Parker in a hospital room, or the emergency, one of the semi-private rooms down in the emergency ward, while they're or the urgent care ward while they're seeing to your ribs.
Okay. I missed some particulars of those sentences that you cut in and out, but I got the general question.
Yeah. This reminds me that we've got a scene with Parker coming up. It'll be great.
Okay, that's what I thought was probably going on there. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Honestly speaking, in response, for God's sakes, it's Alicia, but I was actually trying to do a comfort and support for Adam in that, because he obviously was being run through the ringer, and I just didn't like that.
Okay. Why don't you, because I honestly think if that was, why don't you give me a roll on that? Because I think Adam actually responding with that share of vulnerability thing is certainly responding.
All right. Also, Dave, just so you know, at the end of my opening up move, I give you influence again, and I clear a condition.
Yay.
Nice. Well, and you've got conditions to clear, certainly.
Ooh, a hit.
A hit.
A palpable hit.
So we might get we definitely get a comforter support. Mundane, on a hit, they hear you. They mark potential, clear condition, or shift labels if they open up to you, which I think the vulnerability thing definitely counts. I think that just like right there, just boom, that's definitely counts. So the 10 doesn't happen for Alicia. Clearing a condition for yourself, but it can, I guess, Adam take a take a choice from the. Select something from the menu.
I'm gonna take the odd option here. I'm gonna mark potential.
Okay.
Because the only other condition I have is insecure, and I believe I took several foolhardy actions without talking to my team. Lying right out to them and just being like, "Hey guys, what's going on here?" Right at the beginning.
Yeah, if you want to clear insecure from that, you can certainly do that. I think that probably applies, certainly since it went so very, very poorly. You know.
So I didn't actually have influence over Adam.
I gave it to you once for the end of session move,
Okay.
and then again from my opening up.
Okay, well, for the opening up, yeah.
So the opening up.
I did, for whatever reason, I didn't have it written down, so I don't know if I lost it at some point.
No, you don't understand. The
for the end of session move. So okay,
yeah,
right.
End
right,
of session,
right,
you
right,
got
right,
it,
okay.
and then you got it again for him giving you the vulnerability thing. So you get influence from that. So you still get to shift.
So I get to do the shift.
Yep.
Okay.
All the power. All the power. Okay, that was intense session. The interactions with these guys was not what I expected. So that was super interesting.
Nothing like, have a bad roll to kick things off and generate that real life confusion and misinterpretation of each other's goals and motives.
Oh God, yes. And then the fact that they all basically want to say the same thing to you guys that you want to say to them is just the finger pointing, the blame gun firing haphazardly across the landscape is just delicious. Thank you guys for riding through that craziness. Appreciate it very much. Fun game, and I think that's it.
Doris, you talked about Leo's mom stuff on the forums. Is this a good week for you?
Yes.
Last week seemed like you had a lot going on, so I was like, it's not going to happen.
Well, last week I was actually. Hang on. Let me just